them something. Let them know something. They don't know what it is till I let them hold something. Man, I promise I'ma show them something. Let them know something. They don't know what it is till I let them hold something. I guess I was a problem, now I ain't, Cause ain't nobody checking me. No. Was standing in the middle of my circle, now I'm standing alone, man, it's deep. My boys always said they would love me. Can't tell you the last I heard from them. Where you at? Thank God I got God in my corner, my son and my daughter, my wife is a stunner. Made a promise to God I was coming, drop an album on him, ooh, I finally done it. Took this chip on my shoulder, gave it to the Savior, put the pen to paper in the front. This the first song that I wrote, in the studio alone. Talking to God on my own, this time there's no rain or song. That ain't my aim no more, that ain't the game no more. That's where I got, but it's not what I came here for. I'm in the spot I've been waiting for, like I just signed a new lease on a vacant floor. Man, I promise I'ma show them something. Let them know something. They don't know what it is till I let them hold something. Man, I promise I'ma show them something. Let them know something. They don't know what it is till I let them hold something. This the first song that I wrote, in the studio alone. Talking to God on my own, this time there's no rain or song. This the first song that I wrote, in the studio alone. Talking to God on my own, this time there's no rain or song. First song that I wrote, in the studio alone. Talking to God on my own, this time there's no rain or song. Yeah, this the first song that I wrote, in the studio alone. Yeah, talking to God on my own, this time there's no rain or song. Yeah, I've been around the world and back again, like I never left, like I'm black again. I started 97, someone called a reverend, started rapping, turned me into something different. I'm an animal, I got no inhibitions, beat the beat up, then I put it in submission. By my father's business, just like Iggy Simmons, like them Corleones and all the mother siblings, yeah. Got me feeling like a Beatle, boy, I'm feeling like I'm Nito. And everything's going Carlito, I'm sipping this here Pellegrino, you know it. How we did it, time to show them. Show the people what we hold. 1997 global.
Right, this is Hold Some by Conte Small. That was a dope track right there. You can go check that out. You can search it. I believe it's on iTunes, Google Play, and that's Conte. I'll put that on the chat line. Thanks, Vince. That track was nice also. Konata Small. He's on a label called Reflection Music Group. And the kid has flow. All right, so let's get into the NBA Finals. We talked about it a little bit, but let's really break it down from top to bottom. We all know the outcome. So we all know what happened. You know, there's no surprise there. The Warriors won. They had their parade. And they took care of business. There's no other way around it. Now, LeBron now is 3-5 in the finals. They lost this finals with him averaging a triple-double. What more do you want this dude to do? What more should he have done? There wasn't anything else he could have done. His bench got outscored 35-7 in the final game. That is the problem. You've got a bench with the Warriors with Iguodala coming off the bench, a guy that can shoot, a guy that can play off the dribble, a guy that can do some of everything. When you have a guy like Iguodala, it's a tough situation for you. It's a tough situation for the other team because they had nobody that can match up. Vince says LBJ can't do any more. I agree. LBJ, excuse me. He can't. There's nothing more that he could have done. His supporting cast did not support him, and that's what the problem was. KD gets his first championship. I'm going to say this. KD left. He had a plan, and the plan went forward, and he won. So, as much as Westbrook is probably still upset about it, KD carried out his plan. Now, I would compare this to LeBron going to Miami. You look at LeBron going to Miami, it was on a team that was already decent. You add Bosh to it. You add Dwayne Wade, who's already there. But the reason why I compare this is because LeBron James clearly was the man on the Miami Heat. He took the last shot. It was his call to make at the end of the game. Bosh took a back seat, as well as Wade took a back seat. If you look at this finals, to me, it was pretty clear who was the star player on the Warriors. And in a unanimous answer, it was KD. KD was the best player on the Warriors. He was the best player from top to bottom. Steph has some good games, don't get me wrong, but he never matched what KD was doing. Clay was D'ing up on guys, so that's the reason why his stats weren't up there. But you have to compare those two situations. So with all of these players on the Warriors, they are poised to go on a run. I don't care what you say, they are poised to go on a run. Will they do it? That is the question. Bearing any type of injury, I see this team winning the next 2 to 3 championships. Ralph makes a good point. He said age is catching up with Bron. I agree. He looked aged at some times, but again, he still averaged the triple-double. So, not too much. Age is not catching up with him too much, but it is to a certain degree. I think going into next year, we'll see it even more. Big shout out to, we got DJ Queen. We also got Nunu in the building. Appreciate you guys for jumping in to the chat room. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So, to me, it is tough for any team to be able to compete. For any team to be able to compete with this Warriors team. And if they're not able, and this is the Cavs I'm talking about, if they're not able to get a immediate piece that is going to be better than Kevin Love, that has the length and ability to guard KD, it's over. It's a wrap. So they're going to have to look at Paul George, seriously. They're going to have to look at him. Jimmy Butler, if he's still in the mix. If you want to add Melo, you can do that as well. But there's a lot of question marks on this Cavs team going into this offseason. Now, how does a team, any team in the West, how do you say, I'm going to be able to compete with the Warriors? How can you say that? What are you going to do? It's tough for any team to compete. I think the Spurs have a good chance. They were up on the Warriors in the first game by, 20, I believe, before Kawhi went down. So that's a possibility. But who can truly compete? Who? I don't see very many teams that are going to be able to compete out there. If CP3 goes to the Spurs, that would be a great addition. Will that put him over the hill? Will that put him closer to the Warriors? I probably doubt it. Because again, you're in a situation where who guards Kevin Durant? You can put Kawhi on him if you want. And also, you got to factor in LaMarcus Aldridge. Where was he? Where was LaMarcus Aldridge in this playoffs? I didn't see him. He seemed like he was on a milk carton. So, I think the Spurs will be stronger next year for sure. Ralph says Melo is probably the best fit with the Cavs, I'm assuming you're talking about, which I agree. I think he can provide immediate scoring that you need when somebody's not having a good night, when LeBron needs some help, when Kyrie can't do it by himself. And I think you're going to I would say you do a straight up trade, Melo for Kevin Love, and move on. If they want another piece, you can probably put Dante Jones in there if you want. But CP3 and Kawhi, this is what Ralph says, still can't beat Golden State. I agree. I think it'll add some added depth to their team. I think you probably pull Tony Parker off the bench. I think Ginobili's probably going to retire. So it's interesting. It's interesting with this Cavs team, what they're going to try to put together. So here's the thing. LeBron says he never played on a super team. Is he right? That was a question on ESPN. The answer is no. You did play on a super team. You're on a super team. You played for a super team with Miami. So don't say you never played on a super team and what is a super team like it's irrelevant to you, like you have no clue what that's about. You were on one. Now, LeBron didn't start the super team. Quite honestly, if you want to go back into time, Danny Ainge is the one that started the super team. If you remember, look in the genie bottle or whatever. They had 3 great players. And the reason why they won a championship. KG, number 1, Paul Pierce, number 2, and Ray Allen. That team was put together. And that was everyone coming to that team. Only person that was there was Paul Pierce. They added those 2 other players. They had Rondo. Ralph says Paul George is staying, so he's not an option. Now, you're right. I forgot about that. He did come out and say he's not going anywhere. He's staying. He's going to play out his contract. But here's the thing. If there's an attractive deal for the Pacers, what do you do? If there's an attractive deal that you would take, I don't know what Paul George's contract is like. If he has a no trade clause or whatever, but depending on what type of deal is offered, I think has a potential for this to happen. Ralph says Gasol is old as dirt. He is. Hasn't seemed to stay healthy. Hasn't seemed to be able to finish a whole year. And he's not a gritty player. In today's NBA, you need to have a gritty guy down low that's not afraid, that's not worried about what's going to happen, that's not trying to shoot from the outside. If you have a Gasol, that means you got to have somebody down low that can bruise and beast down low. And I don't think Gasol is that. I don't think Aldridge is that either. So it's going to be tough for the Spurs. But I think adding CP3, not sure what draft picks they have, but that would make some type of a difference if they're able to add a piece in the draft that could start and play now and then also